Let's start talking about why you're drowning in data in the first place. What happened? The government mandated ELDs to improve compliance and safety. It's a great idea in theory, but what they didn't tell you is that these systems would turn every safety manager into a data analyst overnight. Before ELDs, you might get 5 to 10 violations per month that you had to deal with. You're getting 50 alerts per day. Hard braking, rapid acceleration, speeding, idling, route deviations, and hours of service exceptions. And the problem, most safety managers treat every alert like it's equally important. You get hard braking alert and think, I need to call this driver. You get a speeding alert and think, I need to write this guy up. You get an hours of service exception and panic. But the truth, not all alerts are created equal. Not all alerts are created equal. A single hard braking event might mean the driver avoided a crash. That's good driving. But three hard braking events from the same driver in the same week, that's a pattern that suggests either a route problem, a training issue, or a driver who's taking unnecessary risks. The difference between data and intelligence is context. Data is 47 hard braking events this week. Intelligence is driver Johnson had 12 of those 47 events, all on the same route, all between 2 and 4 p.m. Most safety managers are drowning because they are trying to drink from the fire hose instead of learning how to filter the water. I know I've had 150, 200, sometimes even 300 alerts in a day. We feel overwhelmed. Let me teach you how to turn that chaos into clarity with pattern recognition. The key principle. Individual events are noise. Patterns are. Let me show you what I mean with a real example. I worked with a company that was getting hammered with hard braking alerts. The safety manager was calling every driver after every event. The drivers were getting defensive, morale was tanking, and accidents weren't decreasing. So we looked at the patterns. It turned out 60% of the hard brake events were happening at three specific customer locations during afternoon rush hour. The problem wasn't driver behavior, it was scheduling and routing. Once they adjusted the delivery windows and the routes, hard braking events dropped by 70%. Same driver, same truck, a different approach. Here's your pattern recognition framework. 1. Look for clusters. Same driver, same location, same time of day, same route. Clusters tell you that there's a systemic issue, not a random problem. Step 2. Look for escalation. A driver who goes from one hard braking event per month to 5 per week is telling you something. Maybe they're having personal issues. Maybe their route changed. Maybe they need retraining. Step 3. Look for combinations. A driver with hard braking and speeding and late arrivals is painting a picture of someone who's under pressure and taking risks to make up time. Let me give you another example. A driver has 3 hours of service violations in 2 weeks, all 15-minute overages on his 14-hour clock. Individual events, you might think he's cutting it close. Pattern analysis, he's consistently getting to the customers late, which means either his route is unrealistic or he's having performance issues. When you approach drivers with pattern analysis instead of individual alerts, the conversation completely changes. Instead of, you had another hard braking event yesterday, you say, I've noticed you've had several hard braking events on the downtown route this week. Help me understand what's happening there that's different from your other routes. One sounds like you're accusing them, and the other sounds like you're here to solve a problem. Now, let's talk about something most safety managers don't think about: how this data protects you legally. I investigated hundreds of crashes, and ELD data can be your best friend or your worst enemy in court. Here's how it protects you. Proper ELD data can prove your driver was following the speed limits, wasn't fatigued, and took every appropriate action to avoid the crash. I worked on a case where a truck driver was accused of speeding and reckless driving after a four-wheeler pulled out in front of him. The ELD data showed he was going 2 miles per hour under the speed limit and had been braking for 3 seconds before impact. The case got dismissed. But here's how it can hurt you. If your data shows a pattern of violations that you knew about but didn't address, you're looking at corporate negligence. I saw a case where a driver had 15 hard braking events in a month, all documented in the company system. The safety manager never addressed it. When the driver rear-ended somebody, the plaintiff's lawyer used those 15 events to prove the company knew the driver was dangerous but did nothing about it. $2.3 million verdict. Here's your legal strategy. Document your analysis, not just the alerts. Keep records of what you did with it. Review driver's A hard braking pattern, determine it was route related, and adjusted the schedule accordingly. Show the corrective action. When you identify a pattern, document what you did about it. Training, coaching, route changes, whatever. Show you're being proactive. Use the data to support your drivers. When a driver has a clean ELD record and gets into a not at fault accident, the data is gold in court. It shows they're safe and compliant drivers. Your ELD system isn't generating compliance data, it's generating legal evidence. Make sure that evidence tells the story you want it to tell. Now that you understand how to read the patterns and protect yourself legally, let's talk about the most important part: how to turn these insights into actual accident prevention. We get into the most important part: how to actually talk to the drivers about their ELD data without starting World War III. Here's what most safety managers do wrong. They call the driver and say, "Hey, you had 5 hard braking events yesterday. What's going on?" And immediately the driver gets defensive. The driver might say something like, "Those weren't my fault. Traffic was crazy. You don't understand what it's like out here." Game over. You've just turned the data into an argument. It's a framework that actually works. I call it the pattern-based coaching conversation. Step 1, lead with curiosity, not an accusation. Instead of, "You're having too many hard braking events," try this: "I noticed you've had several hard braking situations on Route 95 this week. That's unusual for you. Help me understand what's different about that route lately." Step 2, focus on patterns and not the individual events. Instead of, "You sped yesterday at 2:47 p.m." Try this: "I'm seeing a pattern of speeding alerts during your afternoon runs. What's happening in the afternoon that's different from your morning deliveries?" Step 3, position yourself as a problem solver and not a police officer. Instead of, "You need to slow down," try this: "It looks like you're under time pressure on these runs. What can we do to help you stay on schedule without having you rush?" I'll give you a real example. I had a safety manager call a driver about repeated speeding alerts. Using the old approach, it would have been, "John, you've been speeding. Stop it." Using the new approach, John, I noticed you're getting speeding alerts mostly on your Tuesday and Thursday routes. That's not typical for you. What's the difference about these days? And John's response? It went like this. Those are the days I have to hit 3 customers before 3 p.m., and the second stop always runs late. I'm trying to make up time so I don't miss the third delivery. Now you're not dealing with a speeding problem, you're dealing with a scheduling issue. Completely different solutions. And this is the magic. When drivers realize you're trying to help them succeed instead of catching them failing, they start bringing problems to you before they show up in the data. Let's talk about using your ELD data to identify systemic issues that are creating safety problems. Your telematics system is like having a spy in every truck reporting back on what's really happening out there. And what it's telling you is often that it's your operational decisions that are creating the safety risks. How to read between the lines. Multiple drivers, same location, same type of alerts equals a customer problem. If 3 different drivers are having hard braking events at customer X, the problem isn't your drivers, it's customers X dock, layout, or procedures. The same driver, same routes, different alert patterns equals a route problem. If driver A is clean on routes 1 and 2, but gets alerts on routes 3, route 3 has issues. Time-based patterns equals scheduling problems. If most of your speed alerts happen between 2 and 4 p.m., you're probably scheduling deliveries too tight for afternoon traffic. I worked with a company that was seeing a spike in hours of service violations. The safety manager was ready to start disciplining the drivers. But when we analyzed the data, we found that 80% of the violations were happening on runs to a specific customer who had recently changed their receiving hours. Instead of disciplining the drivers, they renegotiated the delivery window with the customers, and the violations dropped to zero when presenting to management. Don't complain about operational issues. Use data to build your case. Instead of, the drivers are complaining about customer X. Try this. Our ELD data shows customer X is generating 40% of our hard braking alerts and costing us an average of 2.3 hours per delivery in detention time. This is creating both safety risks and compliance issues. I recommend we address their dock procedures or adjust our delivery windows. When you come to management with data backed up recommendations, you're not the safety manager, you're a business consultant who happens to focus on safety. Finally, let's talk about making your ELD system work for you instead of against you. Most safety managers are drowning because they're getting alerts for everything. But the secret is you can customize most of these systems to focus on what actually matters. How to set up alerts that help instead of overwhelm. Instead of getting an alert for every speed event, set it to alert only when a driver exceeds by a limit of maybe 5 kilometers an hour or more for 30 seconds or a minute. This eliminates the passing of slow truck alerts and focuses on actual speeding events. Set up alerts that trigger when a driver has 3 or more of the same type of events in a week. This catches patterns automatically. Exception-based alerts only get alerts when something is unusual. If driver A normally has 0 hard braking events and suddenly has 3 in a day, that's worth knowing about. Create a dashboard that shows trends, not incidents. Instead of looking at individual events, create weekly or monthly reports that show patterns. Hard braking events decreased 20% this month is more useful than 47 hard braking events yesterday. Use the data to prove ROI on your safety initiatives. When you implement driver training, route changes, or new policies, use your ELD data to measure the results. After implementing our defensive driving program, hard brake events decreased by 35%, and speed violations dropped by 28%. This turns your safety program from a cost center into a profit center. Management loves seeing measurable results. Most ELD systems can generate automated reports. Set up monthly reports that show your key metrics and trends. This saves you hours of manual analysis and gives you consistent data to track your progress. Remember, your ELD system is generating thousands of data points every day. The key is not to capture more data, it's to extract more intelligence from the data you already have. We've covered a lot of ground in this webinar. Let me wrap it up with this. The most important things you need to remember about turning your ELD data overload into accident prevention. Number one, data without action is just expensive noise. Stop trying to respond to every single alert. Focus on the patterns, the clusters, and the trends. Individual events are data points that tell the real story about what's happening in your fleet. Number two, your ELD system is a crystal ball, not just a compliance tool. When you learn to read the patterns, you can literally see accidents coming before they happen. 3 hard brake events this week isn't data. It's a warning that something needs to change. Number three, use data to solve problems, not to create arguments. When you approach drivers with curiosity instead of accusations, when you focus on helping them succeed instead of catching them failing, your ELD data becomes a problem-solving tool instead of a relationship destroyer. Your action plan. This week, stop chasing individual alerts and start looking for patterns. Pick your top 3 drivers with the most alerts and analyze what they have in common. Next week, have a pattern-based coaching conversation using the framework that I've given you. The week after that, identify one operational issue that's showing up in your data and present a solution to management. Follow this approach, and within 30 days, you'll go from feeling overwhelmed by data to feeling empowered by intelligence. The reality is what I've shared with you today is the beginning. ELD data analysis is complex, and every situation is different. Maybe next week you'll discover a pattern you can't quite interpret. Maybe you'll need help having a difficult conversation with the driver about their data. Maybe management will ask you to prove the ROI of a safety initiative, and you'll need to know exactly which metrics to track. Through my years investigating crashes and working with hundreds of safety managers, I've learned this. The ones who succeed don't try to figure out complex data analysis alone. That's exactly why I've created the Safety Dawg Success Network. It's designed for safety managers who want ongoing support with real-world challenges, such as interpreting ELD data. And what you get. We meet 3 times a month as a group where we can discuss, and you can bring your actual ELD reports to get help analyzing them. You'll learn from other safety managers who solve similar data puzzles. Plus, you'll get 1 full hour one-on-one with me every month to do a deep dive into your specific data challenges. I've spent 30 years in this industry, including investigating accidents where ELD data was key evidence. I know how to read the story that your data is telling, and I can teach you to see what others miss. Learning to properly analyze their ELD data is a game changer for action and prevention efforts. If you need ongoing support to master this data analysis, check out all the details. Go to go.safetydawg.com slash that's go.safetydawg.com slash SN1. We can help you turn your ELD data from overwhelming chaos into accident prevention solutions. Your ELD system is generating valuable intelligence about your fleet every single day. Are you going to let that intelligence go to waste? Or are you going to learn how to use it to prevent crashes and save lives? Don't let another day go by with you drowning in alerts when you could be preventing crashes. Go to safetydawg.com slash SN1 and let's turn your ELD data into a competitive advantage. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Go out there and start seeing the patterns that will keep your drivers safe.